Incarceration is the act of confining a person against their will, often in a correctional or psychiatric facility, to serve a sentence or for other reasons. It can be imposed by a government authority or by a person without authority, in which case it is considered false imprisonment. The noun incarceration comes from the Latin word carcer, meaning jail. There are many different types of incarceration. If you commit a crime and get locked up, that's one form of incarceration. Some people might feel that school, nursing home or state hospital is a form of incarceration. Chicago, the Windy City, home of deep dish pizza and questionable sports teams. But for Barbara Musikar, it became a prison. Imagine this, an elderly woman stripped of her independence, held against her will. This isn't a movie plot. This is Barbara's reality, a chilling example of how the Cook County court system can fail the most vulnerable. Barbara, originally from Florida, found herself trapped in Illinois. Her daughter, Illana Kinzer, who is an attorney as well, fought tooth and nail to bring her home. However, the presiding judge, Illana McCarthy, wanted to prevent that and charged her with contempt of court for buying an airline plane ticket for her mother. You will find out that these Democrat judges will turn on you faster than the Democratic Party did with President Joe Biden. The message of that party is that you will stay on the plantation and go out the same way you came into the world, which is nothing. They want your house, your money, and in the case of Illana Kinzer, they want her mother. But they were up against a system that seemed determined to keep them apart, a system that, at times, felt more like a rigged game than a court of law. Illana Kinzer took the same oath as Judge Illana McCarthy. One of them is trying to protect the constitutional rights of the elderly, and the other is trying to prevent the protection that Barbara Musikar has with threats of incarceration of Barbara's legal team. This is the story of Barbara Musikar, a story that exposes the dark underbelly of guardianship in Cook County. It's a story of alleged abuse of power, potential corruption, and a system that seems designed to exploit the elderly. Guardianship? Sounds innocuous enough, right? It's meant to protect those who can no longer make decisions for themselves. But like a Chicago hot dog, it can be loaded with unexpected and unsavory ingredients. The problem is the system is ripe for abuse. Imagine this: someone swoops in, claims you're incompetent and takes control of your life, your finances, your healthcare, your freedom. This isn't a dystopian nightmare. This is the terrifying reality for many under guardianship. And who's there to stop it? The courts, you say? Well, the Cook County court system in particular has come under fire for its handling of guardianship cases. Critics point to a lack of oversight, conflicts of interest, and a system that seems to favour court-appointed professionals over the wishes of families. It's enough to make you wonder, who's guarding the guardians? Barbara's story is a masterclass in how quickly things can go wrong. It all started with a simple visit to Illinois, but when health issues arose, a legal battle erupted. Suddenly, Barbara found herself deemed incompetent by the Cook County Court. A guardian was appointed. Her life, as she knew it, was over. She was barred from returning to her beloved Florida. She was separated from her daughter, Illana, her fiercest advocate. She was, for all intents and purposes, a prisoner in her own life. Illana refused to accept this fate for her mother. She knew something was wrong. This wasn't guardianship, it was a power grab. Illana embarked on a relentless legal battle to free her mother. She faced roadblocks at every turn. The court seemed deaf to her pleas. The legal fees mounted, but Illana wouldn't give up. She knew the truth. Her mother was being held hostage by a system designed to benefit everyone but the ward. This wasn't just about Barbara anymore. It was about exposing a system that seemed rotten to its core. Section 5, Judge McCarthy. Questions of conduct and justice. At the heart of Barbara's case is Judge Illana Marie McCarthy. As the presiding judge, her decisions held immense power over Barbara's life, but her actions have raised serious questions about her conduct and impartiality. Critics allege that Judge McCarthy consistently ruled against Barbara's best interests, seemingly favouring the court-appointed guardian. There were allegations of ex parte communications, meetings held without Barbara's attorney present. There were concerns about potential conflicts of interest, with Judge McCarthy's impartiality called into question. This wasn't just about one judge, though. It was about a system that seemed to allow such behavior to go unchecked. Section 6, Financial Exploitation, the dark side of guardianship. Here's a dirty little secret about guardianship. It can be incredibly lucrative for the wrong people, that is. Think about it. You gain control of someone's assets, their money, their property. The temptation for abuse is enormous. And in Cook County, there have been numerous cases of guardians exploiting their wards for financial gain. Barbara's case is no exception. Questions swirled around the handling of her finances. Were her assets being properly managed, or were they being siphoned off to line the pockets of those entrusted with her care? Human rights at stake, a system gone wrong. What happened to Barbara isn't just a legal matter, it's a human rights issue. When a system strips individuals of their autonomy, their freedom, their very dignity, it ceases to be about legal technicalities. It becomes a matter of fundamental human rights, the right to self-determination, the right to live freely, the right to be treated with dignity and respect. These are not privileges, they are fundamental rights, and they were denied to Barbara Musikar. Cook County courts, a pattern of corruption? Sadly, Barbara's story is not an isolated incident. The Cook County court system has been plagued by allegations of corruption and misconduct for years. From bribery scandals to accusations of judges fixing cases, the court has seen its share of controversy. This culture of corruption, critics argue, has created an environment where abuse of power can thrive. It's a system where those with money and influence can exploit the vulnerable with impunity. The need for reform, protecting the vulnerable. Barbara's case is a wake-up call. It highlights the urgent need for reform within the guardianship system, particularly in Cook County. We need stricter oversight, greater transparency and accountability for those who abuse their power. We need to ensure that guardians are truly acting in the best interests of their wards, not their own wallets. We need to empower families and give them a stronger voice in the process. We need to treat guardianship as a last resort, not a first option. A call to action, breaking the silence. This isn't just about Barbara Musikar. It's about every vulnerable individual at risk of being exploited by a broken system. It's time to shine a light on the dark corners of guardianship. It's time to demand better protections for the elderly and disabled. It's time to hold those in power accountable. We can't let stories like Barbara's go untold. Speak up, demand justice, because silence is complicity.